up, everyone? I am Zoreen here with CrossCounter. I'm talking to JB today. Hello, JB.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good.
I haven't seen you since probably like either Combo Breaker or Wednesday Night Fights.
Yeah, I think we've seen each other a couple of times at Wednesday Night Fights.
Yeah, we SoCal, you know?
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been pretty good.
Yeah?
You know, just going to tournaments and grinding out the CPT.
Yeah, I mean, I see you've been putting in work.
Yeah.
Texas Showdown obviously was a big deal for you.
Oh yeah, it was my first CPT win ever, so I'm really excited about that, yeah. It was my very first CPT win.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Do you feel like now that you've had that win under your belts, you know, that kind of boosted your confidence or changed something in your mentality?
Yeah, I think that I actually worked really hard for the tournament and for top 8, so I know that if I continue to work the way that I was, then I can win more tournaments or perform really well in the future.
And, you know, being a Rashid main as well, I think there's a lot of people kind of talking about that character right now.
Yeah, well, he's like the top 3 characters in the game, you know. So, I mean, I love the fact that he is that, you know. It means that I can go into tournaments and not have to worry about my character being weak. So that's definitely a plus.
Do you think when people say things like, oh, the character kind of like is broken and all that, like, does that kind of bother you in any way?
No, not at all. I mean, if he gets nerfed, I'll just pick the next broken character. I don't care, you know.
You're in it to win it, man.
Yeah, of course.
That's so funny.
It's just the way it is, you know. It's like no one makes fun of basketball teams when they have really good players, you know.
That's true.
Like, you need the best you can get in order to win tournaments, or else you are basically handicapping yourself.
That's so true. Now, obviously, you are in the Street Fighter League, as we can see by your jersey. What's that experience been like?
Street Fighter League has been an amazing experience. It's something very new, you know, with the team, the whole team thing and the character bands. It's been really fun. It's been really competitive. There are a lot of strong North American players there. So I've been having a lot of fun, and it's been really nice watching myself too play.
Yeah, okay. Do you feel like, I mean, obviously Street Fighter League is a totally separate thing to the CPT. It's not, you know, it's not like the hardcore Capcom Pro Tour. Do you think that kind of, you know, almost impedes upon your training or your focus on competitive play?
No, not at all. I think that Street Fighter League is a nice break from the CPT. You know, I think that you still get to be competitive, but you don't have to worry about it as much because you have teammates who can also help you play. So when you lose, you still feel good when your team ends up winning because, you know, even if you lose, the rest of your team can still win. So I think it's a good feeling, and I think it's a nice little break from the CPT, and I'm having fun.
Actually, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because, you know, FGC is very much inherently in like individual game, right? You're focusing, you're training by yourself, everything's all you. How does it feel now to be almost kind of like part of a team sport or team esport?
Well, I think it feels good, but it feels a little weird because you know that most games that are team-oriented, you play all at once together. You know, in here it's just you playing individually against other people, but in a team. I kind of wish that I had, like, or Street Fighter had a mode where we can all play at once somehow. You know, that it'll make it much more interesting. It'll make synergy between teammates actually important. You know, whereas I think it's non-existent right now. There's no need for synergy because you just play individually. You know, so I think that that's the only thing that is a little weird about it.
So you guys don't go out back and be like, hey man, like I saw you do this, or like, I don't know, like help each other out with the matchups or anything?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, that's something that everyone does no matter what. Even in a regular tournament that's one-on-one, you have friends who tell you what you did wrong or what you can do to improve. But I think that doesn't really matter too much, you know. I kind of wish there was something where we can all play together at once.
So obviously you're very focused on the competitive side of your gameplay. Do you do much streaming or anything yourself?
I don't stream. I stream sometimes, but not very often and not consistently.
Okay.
It's really hard to stick to a tight schedule. And Street Fighter V is not a game that a lot of people want to watch right now. You know, it's like in its 4th year. It's not as popular as it was in the 1st year. You know, there's a lot of hate with it. So I think that if you want to grind out streaming on Street Fighter V, you can do it, but maybe I don't think it's a good idea for me.
Right, fair enough. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but like a couple of months ago, there was that debate about players who, you know, don't create content or do anything to build the community up. What do you think about that debate?
I mean, I think that debate wasn't just content as in streaming.
Right.
I think it was more as in networking when you're at tournaments, you know, making videos and talking to other people, meeting new people in the videos. Something like vlogs, something like talking in general on Twitter, talking, you know, things like that. Podcasts too. Doesn't necessarily have to be streams. I think it is a good idea, but not just because of Street Fighter V. I think just in anything that you do in esports, you should create content, and I think it's very important to do so.
Okay, interesting. That's interesting to me. So looking forward into the CPT, like what are your future hopes, I guess, for this year?
My hopes for this year is obviously to get to Capcom Cup. I really want to compete in Capcom Cup. I've never been there, so I'd be really excited to be there, and hopefully I can win more tournaments, or at least top 8. You know, every single one of them.
You gonna get it?
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for your time, JB. And any shout outs that you want to give to your fans or anyone out there?
Just shout out to everyone watching. Thank you for hearing me out, and I hope you have a good one.